everybody, welcome back to Gilmore To Say with Tara and Haley. I'm Tara, and today for Galentine's Day, we are giving you guys a bonus episode. First of all, happy Galentine's Day to all who celebrate. We are so excited to see you guys tonight on our Moment, our digital slumber party. If you haven't gotten your tickets yet, now is the time. I am going to start setting up my space soon, and my pajamas are in the background if you're joining us on YouTube. I can't wait. We're going to have so much fun. So if you are joining us tonight, we can't wait to see you. If you want to join us, tickets are at moment.co/Gilmore To Say. We're going to have so much fun. Haley and I just love celebrating Galentine's Day with you guys. This will be our 4th year in a row. You've heard us talk about it, and we love how this has evolved. It's just been so much fun for us. We're going to play some games, and we're going to have a little after party. If you're a Patreon member, you get into the after party for free. And who doesn't love free stuff? Honestly, I do. So we hope to see you there. But we also wanted to give you, because Gilmore Galentine is such an important day for us, Galentine's Day as a whole, we wanted to give you guys a bonus episode. As y'all know, my partner Brett was on the podcast a couple days ago in our last episode, and we had thrown it out there to you guys on Instagram to, a little question box to ask, what do you want Brett to share? Any questions you want him to answer to. And so I sat down with him, just me. It's just the two of us in this episode. So I got into it with him. I asked him some of your hard-hitting questions, and I asked him some questions of my own. And it was really fun to just dive in a little deeper on the show with him. So here is a Q&A with Brett. Hi, Brett Thiel.
Hi, Tara.
Welcome back to Gilmore To Say. Thanks for being with us the other day.
Part deux.
It's just the two of us this time, though.
I know.
Because we're going to do a little Q&A. How'd you feel before we get into it about being on the show?
It was so much fun. I was very, I don't want to say nervous, but I know that you guys are, it's hard talking to experts.
Oh. Well, I hope you didn't feel too intimidated.
Intimidated? No.
You never feel intimidated.
I'm never intimidated.
I hope you didn't feel too nervous. You did a great job.
I had so much fun. No, you guys made it very fun, and I just wanted to, be on your level.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah.
I'm glad we give you something to aspire to.
You always do, baby.
People at home are going to think our relationship is so weird. And it is.
And it is.
Anyway, our listeners, when, we learned that we were going to get to have you on the pod, because I've talked about you so much that I was like, do you guys have any questions? And some of them you answered on, in our conversation already on Tuesday. But for today, I wanted to go through some of the other questions that were asked, because some of them are really fun.
Okay.
And I'm very curious to hear your answers.
Well,
so
I love to have fun.
That's the rumor.
Rumors are true. Can confirm. Was that one of the questions?
Yes.
Me and girls just want to have fun.
Yes, exactly. You and Cyndi Lauper.
Yeah.
So the first question is from Lydia. And
Hi, Lydia.
I think that it's the question that's on everybody's mind, which is, which Gilmore Girls guy do you feel like you most identify with? I know that in our conversation on Tuesday, you said that you didn't really see yourself in anybody. But is there anybody who you most identify with on the show? Okay,
are we speaking specifically Rory's boys?
No. Any of the Gilmore Girls guys.
Open to
yes.
Okay. This is hard, because this is like, it's like getting to choose your zodiac.
I know.
Because there's things that I think that I take away from a lot of people. I do align with Luke.
Okay. In what ways?
In the ways of community. I come from kind of not a small town, but like a southern town. New Orleans is like a small, big town.
It is. I'm getting that vibe as I'm learning more about New Orleans, that it's like, it's a really big city, but everybody knows each other.
Yeah.
Like everybody knows your dad.
Yeah. My dad knows every single person. The mayor of
New Orleans.
Yeah, truly.
Yeah.
He punches everybody's birth certificate. But I identify with Luke with like his banter, the way that he banters with Lorelai reminds me sometimes of how we like to banter with each other. I obviously Kirk.
You identify with Kirk? Why? Because he's a weirdo?
Because he's a weirdo. He barches to the meat of his own drum. Ew, meaty drum.
Okay.
Ew.
Okay.
Yeah. So like, I like that Kirk is the sort of like resident artist of the town. It's hard. I mean, like, I think when I was a teenager, I probably like thought so hard that I was giving Jess. Like Southern Jess. I used to wear like camouflage cargo pants and some sort of black Hot Topic graphic tee.
Oh, that's so Jess Mariano. Yeah.
And like a baseball cap with a fish hook in it.
Oh, okay. That's not Jess Mariano.
That's what I'm saying.
Where
It's
we've
like,
lost ourselves.
yeah.
That's maybe Luke.
Yeah, it's like, it's the meeting between
I was gonna
the
say
two.
maybe
It's
like
the
a
middle of the Venn diagram
Luke
between
Jess combo hybrid. The love child, if you will.
Oh.
Okay. Maybe like their younger brother.
Yeah.
You know?
For sure.
But on that topic, which character, apart from like Lorelai and Rory, do you think that I most identify with?
Outside of those two?
Well, within those two, would you say Lorelai?
I would say Lorelai. Mm-hmm. I would definitely say Lorelai.
Yeah. But outside of those two?
Outside of those two, you're Patty.
I don't. And I take that as a compliment. But
listen, that's high praise coming from me.
Disagree.
But I just wanted to say Patty's name. She just needed to be included in this conversation in some way. Who do I think? I think that there's some Suki in you.
You think so?
I think that there is some Suki in you. Yeah.
I love that. That's such a great answer.
Yeah.
I love Suki.
I find you to be like I'm studying you. I'm writing a dissertation on you. No, like you have a really positive outlook on things. I don't think that you're like is it fair to say naive? Is naive a thing with Suki?
I think with Suki, sometimes she can be a little naive. Yeah, there's a little naivete there, but not in a toxic way or a bad way.
And I think that it's her loyalty. You're a very loyal person. You definitely are like somebody that will go out of their way to help one of your friends. You come through always.
Thank you. Oh, I'll take Suki.
Yeah.
I'll take like a Lorelai Suki hybrid.
Sure.
I think that's fun.
I mean, the two of them are, two ends of a pole. So
yeah, that's true. I'd say the same about Luke and Jess.
Yeah.
In some ways.
Yeah.
Okay, this question is from Rachel. Hi,
Rachel.
Does he think the Gilmans, she put the Gilmans in quotes.
Hell yeah,
I
Rachel.
love that. Have any redeeming qualities? Because you've talked a lot about how you think that they're fundamentally kind of bad people.
Yeah.
But where do you feel like they maybe are redeeming themselves?
I think that they are, and we talked about this a little bit on part one, but I think that I love their relationship with each other. I think there's a lot of softness and a lot of, disagreement inside of their relationship. I think that they really love the way that Richard loves Rory is really special. In the way that, like, because Rory's dad was not around, the way that he steps up for Rory up until, well, I guess actually not up until the series starts, as the series starts, because we have the episode in season 1 where they go to the golf course and they sort of like connect there. And I think that the way that from that moment on, he shows up for her is really lovely. And Emily, to a certain extent, does this as well, but they, gets lost in their way of doing things. The same way with Lorelai.
I think Emily's a little bit more transactional.
Indeed.
Yeah.
But I really enjoy, the relationship between Rory and her grandfather.
Yeah, that's one that we've talked about a bit on the podcast, but one that I'd like to get deeper into. Yeah.
And I also, there's the episode when Emily and Lorelai are at the spa.
Yeah.
Where it's like we go, like, we get a little bit of them being kind with each other when Emily comes to Lorelai's house for the first time. And she sort of gives recognition of like that it's her home. And then almost immediately after that, like, goofs it. But that there's flashes there.
Yeah.
And it's because of the flashes, that it's so frustrating when they can't break free from their delusions.
Yeah. Do you think that Richard has more redeeming qualities than Emily?
It's hard because the things that Richard does hurt the most. I think.
You think so?
I think like his swings are the bigger ones because maybe he does have the more redeeming qualities, and he's sort of set up. We see a lot more softness with him. We see that he's kind of like this teddy bear man, but then when he does the things that are like, why would you do that? It's like big deal things that are like, this is betrayal.
Yeah.
Emily can be overbearing. Richard, it's the way that it's business, you know.
And I guess we don't expect it from him as much as we expect it from her.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that.
Yeah.
Interesting. Good answer. This one made me laugh. I picked the photo of you because I posted a picture of you with a question box like, you know, do you have questions for Brett? And it was your headshot. It was a headshot that like, it's the one where you're wearing the red t-shirt and you're like smooshing your hands together. And someone wrote, did you consent to this headshot being used?
I absolutely did not. I had no say in the matter.
Sorry. I Googled Brett Thiel and that was like the first thing that came up.
You Googled me? You could have asked me. We live in the same house.
I mean, I also could have chosen a photo from my camera roll, but it was either like the Spider-Man photo.
You could have just taken a picture of me on the couch with my socks on.
That's true. I could have done that. But I don't know. The headshot seemed more fun. It was like, bam, here he is.
Yeah. So funny.
What would you say your favorite episode is?
The ending of season 5 was really great.
Great episode.
The ending of season 2 is really great.
I know. Great episode.
Yeah. Some finale episodes. I mean, the finale episodes are always great.
They're so good.
It's got to be some sort of townie episode, though.
Yeah.
I really love the townie episodes.
Like the dance marathon. That's my favorite episode.
Is really great.
Yeah. You don't have to have the same episode.
No. And for me, it's almost like it's hard to remember. It's hard for me to remember like whole episodes, but there's certain moments like A Film by Kirk.
Oh God, I know.
And anytime Patricia LaCosta's around, the Troubadours, Battle of the Troubadours.
Oh yeah, so good.
I think it's
That's
really
the
fun.
Finale of season 1. The finales are really strong. You like the finales a lot.
I do. I love a big ending.
Okay. Maybe when you come back for part 2, you'll have like a very firm, this is my favorite episode.
Yeah.
This one also made me laugh. Has he found the photo of him and Tara in the calamari chair yet?
I didn't know that was public canon.
A little bit. Not all the details.
Oh, okay. I have not. I thought that it was in one of my copies of the Odyssey. I own 7 copies of the Odyssey. I like the Odyssey. But it has not yet.
Resurfaced.
That calamari has found its way back to the sea, I think.
Maybe we'll find it one day.
Yeah.
Okay. One of our listeners asked, why do you hate Lane, Brett? Brett in all caps.
Don't hate Lane.
Okay.
I do not hate Lane. I think that Lane is boring.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the show hates Lane. I think the show hates Lane. They gave Lane this storyline that was like, okay, you're Rory's best friend, right? But here's the thing. We're never going to talk to you. And when we do, it's going to go nowhere.
Yeah, I could agree with that. A lot of people are really disappointed in Lane's character arc.
Yeah.
I do think that the arc and growth she goes through with her mom is really, really cool.
Yeah.
I think that you'll see more of that unfold in season 6.
I also will I don't know if I'm allowed to say this, and this is with respect, because acting is hard. I don't find Keiko to be like fantastic at that time.
I understand. We talk about this on Patreon a lot, that I do think that a lot of Lane's storylines tend to feel very after school special. And I can't tell if that is from the writing or sometimes from Keiko's acting choices, which I don't always necessarily agree with. But the other side to that coin is like, is it her or was she directed that way?
Right. Yeah. It's I don't mean to put the blame onto Keiko.
But I understand where you're coming from.
I will say though, the silver lining in that Lane cloud is she has one of my favorite all-time Gilman's moments. which is the giant suitcase
in season 2.
when
Yeah.
she's getting sent to Korea, because it's like this time when the show is still sort of figuring itself out, and there's just this sight gag, this like really out there left field sight gag that's like what?
Yeah, I know.
Why did we do this?
You rewound that and watched it like twice. When we saw it the first time, you were like, wait, go back.
It made my whole day. Yeah.
Oh my God, it was so funny. I love this question. This is from Kara.
Hi, Kara.
What's your show that you would want Tara to watch and discuss with you like she does with Gilmore Girls?
Oh, fun. I'm 5. We've talked a lot about going back and watching 30 Rock. Oh God, there's so many. I grew up watching a lot of animated series. Like I was a huge cartoon kid. And I grew up with Family Guy and The Simpsons and Futurama, which are all like some of my favorite shows. So none of which that I think you'd particularly like. But if there was one that I think that you'd really like, I think it would be to go through 30 Rock, which I also haven't finished.
But I also feel like what she's asking is there a show like Gilmore Girls that I know backwards and forwards and I'm taking you through because it's such a huge part of my life that you would want to take me through? I feel like it's already happening.
Oh, 100%. And we started this journey almost at the same time that we started watching Gilman's.
After we started watching RuPaul's Drag Race, which is like one of Brett's favorite shows, and you've been watching since it started airing in 2009.
Let me tell you the story about this, is because I can't take the credit for this.
Of course.
Is my freshman year of college, I got a phone call from my mom, Nancy, friend of the podcast.
Friend to all.
And she said in a text message to me, I think I just found the best show on television. And I said, yeah? And she said, it's called RuPaul's Drag Race. And I said, say less.
Yeah.
So I've watched from the first season, and I also like growing up with mom, with Nancy and Scarlett, my sister. Like we were a big reality show competition family. We watched Survivor since the first season. We watched Big Brother since the first season.
Oh wow.
We watched a lot of like Project Runway.
Yes, love Project Runway.
And basically you name it, we watched it. That was like a big way that we bonded growing up. So when she came through with Drag Race, and she was like, it's kind of a mix between Project Runway, Next Comic Standing, and something else. I was like, bet, let's go.
Say less, let's go. Yeah.
And she was right. And to her credit, I don't know anybody that started watching it. Like, I think she was the first one. I think she was the first person that watched the show. She was
the first viewer.
Yeah. So that is definitely one that was important for me to go through with Tara, because there's a lot of references.
Oh, so many. And I feel like, I mean, we're still watching it. We just caught up. Well, we're about to watch last year's season, but we're pretty much caught up, and I know the lore, and like I love it. I'm having so much fun. I love RuPaul's Drag Race. We have a great time watching it, and I love getting into it with you, and I love you sharing with me like, oh, I remember where I was when I watched this, or when this moment happened. We were all like huddled around my very small television in my dorm room or in my apartment here like downtown, and it's so fun to like listen to those moments of you remembering when you watch these things, because of course that is kind of how I am with Gilmore Girls. I remember so many moments of watching the show when I was a kid or in high school, college, etc., and like what I was doing, who I was, what I was wearing, even, where I was. And so I feel like we're kind of doing it right now.
Yeah, there's a lot of happy memories attached to the show, and it's such a social show. So,
and I also feel like had I not seen it, Golden Girls would have been one.
Oh yeah,
that we would have gone through together.
Oh yeah,
but I did that about 7-8 years ago. I went through all of Golden Girls, and I love that show. We're into the girls. We're into the Golden. We're into the gossip. We're into the Gilmore.
Oh, Gossip Girl, yeah.
Love Gossip Girl. A lot of people want to know what you think of Jess's character.
Like the character of Jess, or like Jess's character?
Oh, the character of Jess. And Jess's character.
I guess that's, yeah. I really like the character of Jess. I think he's like a hugely important role in Rory's life.
Yeah.
I think that he's one of those people that like really inspires her to step out of herself, but is still very much a person that makes her feel her most herself. He challenges her in ways that I think are really influential and important. And he's so complex, and Milo is so good. I grew up, important for you to know, Heroes season 1 and 2. Like Heroes season 1 is one of my favorite things that's ever been on television. And he's great in it.
Yeah, he's really good.
I loved that show so hard, and then they just like they found the biggest shark they could and just jumped right over it.
Yeah, I never watched the show in its entirety. I watched the first few episodes of season 1, and I thought it was great. You know, I love him, obviously. Ali Larder, Hayden Panettiere, like, you know, great actors, chock full of really, really good people. I just never like fully immersed myself in it.
Yeah, but that's this generation of like television stars has been so great.
Yeah.
Like his class, so to speak.
Totally.
And what a gem, like what a find for Amy to have him. But Jess, the character, also is written very well and written very real. You know, as something, it's not your typical sort of like, oh, my parents weren't there for me and I'm sad now, so I do things that aren't good, you know.
I love that on this podcast, whenever you do an impersonation, you turn into like a Staten Island.
Hey, gabagool, yeah. It's my character breakdown voice.
No, but he like had a huge chip on his shoulder. We watched that intro episode of his the other night, and I forgot like how surly he is when he first enters the world.
Oh, in his like Ed Hardy camouflage thermal that's like 2 sizes too small with his blue vest.
But you can see like his muscles. Oh, it's so good. No, but when he is when he's mouthing off to Lorelai.
Yeah.
The way he speaks to her, I'm like, oh my God.
Yeah.
This is the guy I root for. But it is, because you see him, and when you eventually see where he lands in the series, it's just like, oh my God. It's such beautiful growth.
Yeah. He's fiercely independent, which we love.
Yeah.
In a show that is a lot about people who are under the guise or trying to be influenced by others, the entire town, like,
or a show that's really about community and centers on community. He doesn't want to be a part of that community.
Yeah, for sure. But I think that there's something that he like fundamentally disagrees with about this community. The small town life just like isn't.
Totally.
He doesn't like people in his business.
Yeah. He's also just defiant, I think, to be defiant in a lot of ways.
Sure.
But his character is so layered, and his relationship with Luke is, as I'm getting older and as I'm becoming more, you know, mature and watching this show, I am finding that I'm so much more fascinated by his relationship with Luke and that storyline than I am. I think my 13-year-old soul will always be attached to his relationship with Rory, because I loved it so much. Yeah. And I still do. But
what is it about in particular that you are drawn to with their relationship?
With whose?
With Rory and Jess.
Well, I was 13. And
sure.
It was Milo Ventimiglia.
Sure.
And we hadn't met Logan yet. So it was between Dean and Jess. And I was like, well, obviously it's Jess.
Yeah. He reads books and has a leather jacket.
But also she like really loved, like you could tell she was really, really drawn to him.
Yeah, she's really stimulated by him.
Yes. And it was just like, I want someone to, we talk about this a lot on the podcast, that it's like, there's something so attractive, and this is so toxic, but there's something so attractive about a man only having eyes for you, like hating everybody else, but only liking you.
Is this why you have a cat?
And that is why I have that particular
that's what
cat.
I'm saying. Because it's giving that vibe.
It's giving Luna. No, but there was something like very exciting about that. About like, I don't like anybody else, but I like you.
Yeah. Oh, please. Like there's we all have had a person in our life that's like that. There was the bartender at Ease.
Oh, yes, our friend.
Yeah, that like when we first got to the bar, she was like kind of surly and kind of like
she's a little standoffish.
Yeah, and then we like kept showing up and like she finally started talking to us, and like one day we both looked at each other and we were like, are we cool?
She loves us.
She loves us. And she's cool.
Yes, she's so cool.
So like there's definitely something like desirable about
winning someone over.
Yeah.
And not that Rory tried to win Jess over.
No.
She didn't have to. He was completely enamored by her. But it was one of those things where he was like, I hate this town, but I love you.
Yeah, I think that it's that she didn't seek him out because he didn't like people, but there is that's the thing that keeps you.
Mm-hmm. For sure. I think that people wanted to know how you felt about him because I loved him so much when I was a kid and still do.
By the way, have I ever mentioned how much I hate everybody? I hate everybody in the world.
Oh my God.
Yeah.
I'm so excited right now.
Did I mention I'm reading books? And I bought a leather jacket recently.
Oh, all right. Well, color me intrigued.
Happy Valentine's Day.
Happy anniversary.
Yay!
Yay! What are your thoughts on Marty? We just released an episode on Marty last week. Naked guy.
Marty comes along at a weird time because Marty comes along at a time that I've been like, oh, cool. Rory's going to get another boyfriend.
And is that what you thought when you met him? You were like, oh, okay, here he goes.
Yeah, for sure.
I feel like he's one of the questions we posed last week was like, is he introduced to the story as a love interest?
I think that Marty's a big question mark.
Yeah, totally. And then you kind of don't know what happens there because he's introduced as a love interest, sort of, or you think that he's going to be a potential love interest.
It's a classic meet cute.
Classic in the hallway and the guy is naked.
Come on, we've all
been there.
If you can't relate to that,
I know.
Get out and live your life.
But then we don't see him for like the second half of season 4 because I know. I'm an expert now. Because we're catering to like this Dean Jess, like this resurgence of the Dean Jess love triangle.
Which we're exhausted by.
Totally. Some of us lie on the floor face down.
Yeah. Yes.
And get really upset.
Yes, indeed. I was so bored by Jess and Dean part 2.
But by the time we get to season 5 and he comes back again, I remember when we watched this, you were like, oh, Marty. You were like pleasantly surprised to see him, especially after everything that happened with Dean and Jess and whatever. And it like, then we come to find out that he's really only there to introduce her to Logan.
Yeah. Well, and I also don't like it makes me feel sad because I like Marty so much that his character kind of becomes like the sacrificial lamb to.
That's exactly what we called him last week. The sacrificial lamb.
Well, look at us.
Seems like you listen to the podcast. You don't.
I don't.
You can't.
I can't have the spoilers. Yeah, I think that Marty could have been really fun. And I don't know if he comes back. I don't know if we get any more of Marty, but I think he would have been a really cool choice for her.
You think so?
Yeah.
I don't.
Oh.
Just because I think it would have been boring. I don't know. There are times where he challenges her. I think that we said this in our last episode. I think that Marty represents everything Rory thinks she is. She thinks she's like middle class, working class, even though she comes from a very privileged place, even though her mom chose to be working class and not accept her parents' money. Rory doesn't have to pay for school.
Right.
Her grandparents are doing that.
Sure.
She doesn't really have to work that much. She could go to her grandparents and ask for money. She chooses to work, which is great. Marty has to work.
Right.
Marty is bartending his way through school. He's not a part of this like Logan Huntsberger life and death brigade, secret society, high society class. And Rory, I think
he's Dan Humphreys.
Exactly. That's also what we said. Do you listen to the podcast?
I'm glad that great minds think alike.
Yeah, he is kind of that Dan Humphrey character. And so I do feel like, in a sense, it might have been a little boring. But what I really would have liked to see is Rory have a male friend who wasn't in love with her.
Yeah, you mentioned that when we watched it.
Yeah. I'm like, why does everybody have to fall in love with this girl?
Yeah.
I get it. Yes. She's the main character.
Well, no, but she's the main character, but it feels reductive to have this really interesting woman character, female character, and like the only sort of issues that we can throw her way are issues with men.
Yeah.
Like it feels like she deserves a better obstacle to climb.
Yeah. Well, we're getting that at the end of season 5. It's like someone challenging her on her ability to be a good journalist, I think is something that will be really interesting to see. But you can
Shout
see
out
how much.
Doyle.
Not Doyle.
I know.
No, Mitchum Huntsberger.
I know.
Shout out Doyle. Do you like Doyle?
No.
Oh, you don't? You don't like Doyle in Paris?
I'm neutral I'm beige on Doyle.
All right, we'll see how you feel throughout the series.
Oh, Doyle in Paris? I love Paris. I love my girl Paris.
Yeah.
But I don't know, Doyle needs a shower.
He probably does.
Yeah.
I don't know how he smells.
He acts smelly.
You heard it here first, folks. What are your thoughts so far on this version of Rory we're getting at Yale? Because a lot of people like to divide Rory into like pre-Yale, when she was in Stars Hollow, like Chilton Rory versus Yale Rory. What have your thoughts been on that? Like, did her character arc go in a direction you wanted to see it go in when she went to Yale?
Here's a thing that we've talked about before as we've been watching the show, is that the focus really shifts to, is that what enough consonants in the word shifts? The focus really shifts to Lorelai and her life. Like, it feels like Rory goes to college was always going to be a thing that we needed for who we believe is the main character, which is Lorelai, right?
Yeah.
It's always been building towards she's going to have to go away and you are going to be in this town by yourself at some point.
Yeah.
So we've talked about the fact that like Rory's storyline kind of does suffer because of that, because we're spending so much time watching Lorelai, which is great. And her character, like I've really come around with her character in this season. And Rory in college, her storyline. Yeah, I think we just discussed it, right? Is that like, I wish that we had at this level more complex issues to throw her way than like boys.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I'm a little disappointed, a little bored with Rory at the moment, but I don't think it's her fault. I just think that this might be my critique might be on writing and show running.
Okay. Are you feeling bored with her where we left her, where she's decided to quit Yale?
No, I think that's great.
Yeah. You just think season 4 Rory is very boring.
I think she's misused.
What would you have preferred to see?
Anything else. I'm glad that we're starting to get her like pursuing this career that she's really interested in. The storyline with Logan's dad is good. But there's she's in college. There's a million other mistakes to make and a million other places to go that she's independent from her mom, and we're kind of seeing her, and I guess, it's her first year, it's her freshman year. So
we see her freshman year and then we see her sophomore year.
Yeah. Is that we're still kind of getting that she's like so tied to Lorelai.
Not anymore.
We're all correct. But leading up to that, she's a bit underserved, I think.
Interesting. I'm curious to hear how you feel when we come back for part 2.
Yeah, I assume the pendulum has to swing at some point.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so in the fandom, it is very popular for us to be on a team for Rory's boyfriends. Team Dean, Team Jess, Team Logan. So far, being at the end of season 5, which team are you on?
Kirk and Lulu.
No, what team are you on?
I think I don't know him well enough yet. I think I'm Team Jess.
You're just saying that?
No, I'm not saying that. I think that like for what he represents when they were together, I think he's pretty pivotal.
Yeah. Were you going to say Logan?
I was considering Logan.
Can you tell me why?
It's anyone but Dean.
Yeah, well, yeah. You know what I said in one of my TikToks back in like 2021?
Yeah.
I said, because people were asking for my thoughts on Logan, and I admittedly, and we'll get into this as we continue through the series, I am Team Jess, but I think Logan was the best partner for her. I also think that's about when they dated, because Jess clearly couldn't offer her anything foundational when they were dating, because he was young and had no idea what to do with himself.
He's a lot of trauma to heal.
Exactly. He's got a lot of trauma. But I said, honestly, I feel like whether you're Team Jess or Team Logan, you're really just Team Anti-Dean. It's just about which kind of bad boy you prefer.
Cheer up, creepy Dean.
Oh, what does it mean? Okay, well, I'm intrigued to see how you feel or if that opinion changes.
Yeah, I'm now, of course, thinking about Marty, and I know you have your reasons, but I still think that would have been an interesting partner for her.
Okay, listen, I respect that opinion.
Yeah.
I totally respect it.
Would you consider Logan a bad boy?
Not bad boy. Kind of. He's rebellious.
He's rebellious.
They stole a yacht.
Yeah, is that bad boy, though?
He jumps off of cliffs and shit. You know what I mean?
I suppose, but he's
very he's very rebellious with his family. He doesn't want to do what his dad wants him to do.
Yeah, there's a difference between rebellious and bad boy, though.
I guess.
I
don't know.
He's like I don't know. He's giving the quarterback vibes. He's giving preppy. He's too preppy to be a bad boy.
I don't know. I'm just quoting myself from 2021.
Yeah.
So far, what's your favorite season that we've watched?
I think it's either 1 or 4.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought you didn't like 1.
Well, okay. So the thing about 1 is that it's such a, it's not about the season, but about the show.
Yeah.
I don't love season 1, but I love the show finding itself.
Yeah, I get that.
This show has a really special way of that. Where we are now in season 5, where it's cool, we are on our feet.
We are
have
flying.
Figured it out.
Yeah.
Yeah. And season 5 is awesome. Season 4 has so many good episodes in it.
I know. I love season 4. Haley and I think I told you, we're not we always kind of forgot about season 4 because I would break it down to seasons 1 through 3 are those early years, and seasons 5 through 7 are kind of the Logan years, the later years. And season 4 gets lost in the sauce a little bit because Rory's finding herself. It's before Luke and Lorelai get together.
Yeah.
I love season 4. When we rewatched it, we were like, season 4 slaps.
Yeah. I mean, this is Jason. Jason is really interesting. I never trusted Jason.
I know you didn't. Were you surprised when Richard was the one who...
I was. That was one of those ones that we talked about earlier where it was Richard.
Your prediction was that Jason was going to screw Richard over. Yeah.
From the second he walked on the screen, I was like, this guy's going to do something bad.
Yeah.
Something bad is happening with this. And I liked... What did I like about him and Lorelai? Maybe he does similar things for Lorelai that Jess does for Rory.
In what ways?
I think that he really challenges Lorelai's to step out of she's very firm now and oh, you could be. He's almost an interesting way back into the path that Emily and Richard wanted for her. And is maybe similar in ways to. Maybe he's more similar in ways to what Logan is for Rory.
Maybe it's a little bit of that. It's they have great banter.
Yeah.
They come from kind of the same background. Rory and Logan don't, but their parents and grandparents kind of exist in the same circles.
Yeah.
And, Lorelai and Jason kind of they didn't grow up together in the same way Christopher and Lorelai did, but there are similarities there in that they went to summer camp together. There's history there.
I think that there's something maybe very healing about it. About having someone who recognizes and there's a relief of having someone that understands where you're at. Yeah. Where Luke can't really understand where Lorelai comes from with a lot of this stuff.
Yeah.
Jason really does.
Lorelai commiserate on family tensions and parental kind of meddling and being under the thumb of their parents and in business with their parents. Yeah, he's kind of a little bit of, I don't want to say a mirror of Christopher, but a mirror of Lorelai in a lot of ways.
Yeah, definitely.
And I think that's why people kind of ship them sometimes.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It just was never going to be them.
No, never ever. But I still think he was really important. And that was a thing that I loved about season 4 in particular.
Well, he definitely made her, I don't want to say think twice about her relationship with Luke, but kind of kept her interested while Luke was figuring himself out and really like coming to terms with like, oh yeah, I'm in love with Lorelai Gilmore.
Yeah.
You know, who is somebody on the show that you cannot stand?
God, there's a couple of these.
Yeah.
I mean, it's kind of lame.
I knew it was going to be lame. I knew it was going to be lame.
And I'm such a hypocrite because I had a whole bit earlier about how like I don't hate Lane. I just think that her story's boring. But it maybe is because of that anytime Lane comes on the screen, I'm like,
yeah, I know. We wanted more for Lane. Justice for
there's
Lane.
got to be somebody else that I can not that I can give some I'll give a break to Lane on. Taylor Dosey.
Oh yeah, you're not a big Taylor Dosey fan.
Yeah, no.
Every time Taylor comes on the screen, you're like, oh, this guy.
I love him in the spin-off that I have with him and Michelle, but
well, sure.
That's a different Taylor.
Yeah,
that's a different Taylor for a different time.
Yeah. Remember the other day we were watching that episode about Jess, the ins and outs of Vince, when he does the chalkboard, the chalk outline outside of Dosey's and they're having the town meeting about him?
Yes.
I always quote this on the podcast. I think I told you when Luke and Bootsy get into their little scuffle and Luke ends his whole like meeting with the town. He's like, I was going to stay open late, in case anybody wanted food after. Forget that.
Yeah.
And then it cuts to Bootsy and he goes, his turkey burgers are very dry. Somebody asked. I say it all the time. Somebody said, was Tara's impression of his turkey burgers are very dry and as accurate as you had hoped it would be?
It's got a lot of Joan Rivers in it.
Yeah, it's true.
But
his turkey burgers are very dry. I just love it. It makes me laugh so hard.
But it is very accurate.
Thank you. Bootsy's one of my favorite characters. We only see him in seasons 1 and 2. Actually, I think only season 2, and I just love him.
Yeah, your Bootsy impression is a lot like whenever I do an impression of anyone else on the show that they just like, hey, forget about it, Gabba, hey. I'm Patty, hey.
Yeah, that's exactly what Patty sounds like. Mm-hmm. Okay, I actually really love this question. Anna asked.
Hi, Anna.
What did Tara's love for Gilmore Girls tell you about her? Any green flags that you noticed?
A thing that we've connected in a lot on the show is how we sort of view relationships. I think that we work really well together because we see eye to eye in this relationship game.
Yeah.
And so it's maybe not answering the question directly, but I think that like the experience of watching it with you and the discussions that we've had because of it have confirmed a lot of things that I already loved about you.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I feel the same way.
Wow. Everyone throw up?
Cue the vomiting.
Yeah.
My mom asked, how the heck are you so darn cute? Asking for a friend.
Thanks. I will answer your mom with my mom. It was her fault and my father, and I had nothing to do with it.
It's true. Okay. What were your thoughts on Max Medina? Oh my God, that's so funny. 2 people in a row. One person said, I need his thoughts on Max Medina. My fiance opened my eyes to how creepy he truly is.
Yes.
And then the next person said, Brett, tell us how you really feel about Max and the ick.
Yeah. No, Max was not it for me.
Big ick.
Max the knife. Max Medina was big ick. The way that they met, like the way that the relationship carries out, it's just big, like, weird vibes. Like if my teacher at school
dated your mom,
dated my mom,
it'd be over.
Yeah. No.
No.
You can't talk to me. And then you can't like tutor me. Like, no, you cannot. No, I cannot stay after class. Yeah. Almost stepdad. Get out of here.
It is a very weird dynamic. I was really endeared to Max. I also, like, this about me, I really gravitate towards those first few seasons. Like the early seasons are my jam. And so like Max Medina, I think I will always be endeared to. As I grow up, of course, I see kind of some of the red flags. I just don't think he was right for her.
He was not, but he like really wanted to be.
He wanted to be so badly.
He wanted to be desperately. And it was not it. And that's hard to love someone more than they love you.
Yeah. Why'd you look at me like that when you said that?
I was looking at Luna.
No, I totally agree. And I think that with Lorelai specifically, I think she really wanted to love him. She says it.
Yeah.
She says it in one of the episodes. She's like,
for sure.
I really wish I loved him.
Yeah, she says it to him, right? Doesn't she say something like that to him?
Really wanted
oh
to
no,
love you.
I'm thinking of him saying, "I really wanted to be your."
Yeah, to Rory.
Yeah.
No, she says to Rory, I really wish I loved him. I really do. You have no idea how badly. And it's because I think she wants that life that she like speaks to wanting a lot of times throughout the series. Like, I want that life. I want that person who wants me back. And I think that Max felt very safe.
Yeah.
Despite the fact that their relationship, when you really look at it, was quite tumultuous.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. She was willing to look past a lot in pursuit of that like comfy, cozy, nougaty center. But no, pass on Max Medina.
Yeah. Okay. I really love this question. Biggest plot twist / shocking moment for you so far?
Obviously, well, okay, so Richard being the one to sell out his family is crazy.
Yeah.
That was very much like an unexpected sort of gut punch. Gut punch. He punched me in my guts.
I'm sorry about that. I'm sorry about your guts.
Hateful, hurtful, and I won't stand for it. Obviously, like being right about Rory leaving Yale.
But was that a twist?
That's a twist.
For you?
Yeah.
It's a big twist in the series, of course.
Yeah. I mean, it wasn't just because I guessed it doesn't mean it wasn't a twist.
Yeah, that's true.
It was still like, oh, wow, she really left
She
Yale.
really did it.
Yeah.
She's really doing it.
Yeah. I think maybe before that, like her... No, it's not. That one's better. Like we also knew she wasn't getting into Harvard.
She got into Harvard.
Or that she doesn't go to Harvard.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said that in the last episode.
I know. I just mean to say that like it was so built, like, you know, her character was so built up to go to Harvard. No one was like, oh my God, she's not going to go to Harvard.
Yeah.
But I think that her deciding to, even if I wasn't a genius, her deciding to not go to Yale is still like a pretty big surprise.
Yeah.
Jess showing back up is pretty surprising.
Oh, did that surprise you?
Yeah.
Yeah, totally. Did it surprise you when Rory and Dean slept together?
No.
Okay. The build up there is pretty.
Yeah. The
them dating.
Yeah.
That part was kind of like, what the
their
fuck?
relationship was so weird.
Yeah. Yeah. Completely.
Yeah.
I really love this one. Wilhelmina wants to know, is Tara's knightwear really as insane as it sounds? And she spelled knightwear Knight wear.
Hi, Wilhelmina. Picture this. You're, getting ready for bed. You release yourself from your restraints. And you jump in some comfy, cozy sheets that you picked out. You're so excited for bed. And then in walks your partner, dressed like she's about to go diving in like the 1940s when they wore like the giant helmets with the hose sticking out the top. This is kind of what our sleeping situation is like. Tara comes in and goes to bed in like an inflatable sumo costume. From birthday parties.
This is such a picture you're painting.
There's me, ready, as God intended me.
Ready.
Born naked, and the rest is watching Tara come into the bedroom dressed in like a 3-piece tuxedo with a top hat.
Not that. Oh my God. Okay, I have 2 more questions left for you. Jenna wants to know, what was the exact moment you decided that Dean was the worst? Because I know at the beginning you and I kind of disagreed on I remember a few episodes and you were like, all right, I'm still not at Dean sucks. Like, where does Dean suck? Where do you feel that moment was for you?
Because there's a lot of they suck. You know what I mean?
Like their relationship?
Well, and also just like they're shitty teenagers. They're just shitty teenagers doing shitty teenager things, right?
Sure.
Dean pressuring Rory to say I love you was weird.
That was the moment for me where I was like,
that was a little like, okay.
Yeah. But also it's like, okay, you're 16.
Yeah. Yeah, I get it. Like I definitely had friends, like I've definitely seen this drama play out before in real life.
Oh my God, yeah.
Like I don't think he was definitely overreacting, but I don't think that like.
But overreaction for teenagers is, I don't want to normalize it, but like one of the questions we've asked ourselves on this podcast is like, is Dean toxic or is Dean a teenager? It was the first episode we ever did on this podcast. Both can be true at the same time.
Yeah.
But we give him a little more grace when he's a teenager as opposed to later in the series when we're like, all right,
you're a yucky old man now.
Yeah.
You need to stop.
I think that the moment that you looked at me and went, Dean sucks, was after he slept with Rory and then went home to his wife and was like a fucking douche to her.
Yeah, fuck that guy.
And you turned to me and went, Dean sucks.
Yeah, that was crazy behavior.
Insane. That was insane behavior.
That was crazy behavior.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, like I was already skeeved out, and like the creepy Rory shoulder moment is like.
Yeah.
Where she's like having a really serious thing, like trying to come to you and talk to you about an issue, and you're sort of like taking advantage of it.
Yeah, it was really weird.
But yeah, him cheating on his wife and then going home and
yelling at
his wife.
Oh my God.
I was like, light this man on fire.
Truly. Let him up. Okay, this is the last question. I'm really curious what your answer will be. What was the first episode of Gilmore Girls where you felt truly gripped by the show? Because I know, of course, the reason you started watching it is because of me. But what kept you interested in the show when you really were like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I don't think it's something that's like gripped. You know what I mean? Where I was like, oh my God. What's going to happen next? You know, there's like shows like 24 that used to have you like, what is going to happen?
On the edge of your seat, yeah.
Shout out Kiefer Sutherland.
Yes. Wow.
Friend of the podcast.
Sure.
I think it was like around one of the first like town meetings. Where I was really like, this is where the show is.
Yes, the town meetings for sure.
Yeah.
One of our most popular episodes last year was about town meetings.
Yeah.
And it was one of mine and Haley's favorite episodes to record because that's the heart of the show.
Yeah.
Obviously, the Gilmore girls and their relationship, Emily, Lorelai, Rory, that is the heart of the show. But like the true heartbeat lies within the town and the community and those town meetings. Though there are only, oh my God, I can't remember like the full, like the exact number, but I want to say there are only like 14 town meetings, 19 town meetings, something like very benign compared to like the 154 episodes we get. But I thought there were more because they're so crucial to the story, in my opinion.
I love... When's the first thing I can remember being like, oh, this is really great? Maybe that episode with Richard that you were going to get me to skip.
Oh, I know. Richard and Stars Hollow. You really loved that one.
I really liked that. The dance-a-thon too.
Yeah, the dance marathon.
Yeah.
Was when it was like, oh, we're cooking with gas now. I think in season 2, you felt very gripped by the show.
Yeah.
But it's interesting to me because I know in season 1, you just said that was like one of your favorite seasons to watch.
Yeah, knowing, like, going back now and, like, zooming out on it all.
I know. It's one of my favorite seasons, too, even though it's so chaotic.
It's crazy.
It's so messy and so different to watch.
Yeah. And it's
but
like...
I love it. It makes me feel like...
it's like, I don't want to say it's, like, poorly made, but it's so, like...
It's just so different.
Held together with paper clips and bubble gum.
Well, I mean, they probably had a low budget. They were trying to make it work, you know? It's so good. It feels like being wrapped up in a hug.
Yeah, well, and it's got that thing where like it looks like it was filmed on a Nokia phone.
I know. And I kind of like moving forward, if I like move forward filming any of the pilots I've written, if we move I brought you here today.
Yeah. This is
the eve of our anniversary.
Yeah, this is the platform that makes the most sense.
To tell you.
Yeah.
No, like, I don't even want to say if. When I move forward shooting any of the pilots that I've written and the shows that I've written, I would actually really love to shoot them on these cameras that they used for like Gilmore Girls.
Yeah,
I think that makes the nostalgia factor feel a lot more present.
There's a warmth to them.
Yeah. I kind of love it. I want to be like, I want to Google like, what camera did they use and find it and use it. Because I'm like, forget about this HD shit.
Yeah.
I want to film it on the camera they filmed Gilmore Girls with.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
And that's what I'm manifesting.
High five.
That was good. Well, thanks for coming back on the show. Thanks for doing a little Q&A with us. Our listeners had a ton of questions and I thought they were good.
Yeah.
Great questions.
Thanks,
Thank you guys. Thank you, besties.
Thank you for embracing me on the pod.
Yeah. I can't wait to have you back.
Oh, boy.
And happy Galentine's Day to everybody out there.
Valentine's Day. Hey, happy 3-year anniversary.
Our 3-year anniversary is tomorrow. Yay.
I love you.
I love you too.
Hooray.
Yay. Okay, bye.
Bye-bye.